What is the most unattractive quality in another person you have ever seen in your dating life? Having no empathy. Yup. If I'm crying, you shouldn't be walking away. It's first grade, SpongeBob. Expecting me to be their mother, drop everything for whatever they need, help with the most mundane stuff and shrug off their lame excuses as to why they can't contribute. Show me how to vacuum level stuff. Women who intentionally put on a baby voice because they think it's cute. I don't think I've ever noped out of flirting with a woman so fast as when a 35-year-old put on a high-pitched voice and started pronouncing her R's and L's like W's. Laziness. My ex-boyfriend would sleep or just watch TV while I did the cooking, mowing, shoveling, shopping. He was worse than taking care of my kids. The day I had to ask my ex to lift his feet up so I could vacuum his Dorito crumbs while he played video games was the day I knew I was going to file for divorce. Mentioning politics on dates. What an unattractive, annoying thing to randomly bring up, especially here in Singapore when people ask me, what do you think about Trump? I don't even live in the effing US. Why even ask me that? I don't care. Aggressive behavior. Not outright physical abuse, but making their size and presence known. The ex did this in several ways, such as getting up and standing over me when we argued, pinching and poking me hard enough to bruise, and calling it playful and loving, snatching things from me, etc. As a childhood DV victim, this just made me absolutely shut down. Entitlement. Entitlement to your time. Entitlement to your attention. Entitlement to your body. And I'll add that there was a particular guy pushing 40 that had a thing for teenage girls that I had to regularly rebuff the advances of and summarily listen to his tirades about how young girls are biased against broke older guys and how he is entitled to their affections. Not washing their ass, just letting the water bounce off their cheeks and calling it a job well done. Talking at you the entire time without asking you any questions. Yes, this I give dates 20 minutes. If in that time not a single question has been asked, I check out. When they forget how amazing they have it with you, because you are nice and smart and awesome and hot and sexy and cool. So you leave, and they get sad. Sorry, that sounds arrogant, but really? It sucks to be taken for granted. It's wonderful to feel appreciated and valued. Poor personal hygiene. He worked from home and would have a shower maybe once a month, if we were lucky. He effing reeked but still expected sex. Mate, if you smell like skid dyes and dingleberries, I'm going nowhere near you. I dated a guy who had long, greasy hair that he barely washed, lol. One time I got him a job interview at my workplace and he didn't wash his hair beforehand. My manager was like, why are you dating this dude? Bad taste. Low self-confidence. Every other sentence of this guy's mouth was trying to defend his life choices / appearance / job to me. I did not once imply I cared about it, but it was all he talked about. So awkward. Being a sad puppy, constantly wanting reassurance and having no spine, constantly wanting to be a victim. I just find it revolting and have no time for it. Alcoholism. Yup. Never found a dude who gets s-faced, attractive. I mean, every once in a while, okay, have fun. But some guys do it every single weekend and think it's a quirky personality trait. No thank you. Being pushy. When someone says no to sex, they mean it and that should be respected. My ex never physically forced me, but his constant emotional manipulation and acting hurt when I said no made me feel obliged to do things I didn't want to. It eventually made me very unhappy with our relationship and turned me off him. After every sentence, I know it's weird, but I like you. It sounds really stupid, but I miss you. I live at home, but I'm not a mommy's boy. I guess a therapist would have something to say about this communication pattern. The need to put down everything you like, music, books, etc., whilst simultaneously laughing and stating they were just teasing just you. Negging. Being a sniveling mama's boy. I dated a guy who woke me up the first night he slept over to tell me he'd had a nightmare, and when I said you're okay, it's not real, held him and went back to sleep. Evidently that wasn't enough because he told me in the morning he'd called his mom and she had calmed him down over the phone at 3 a.m. Like that is normal for a 35-year-old. Being mean and always talking down about other people. They were always focused on how to get ahead of other people, or talk bad about people they disagreed with. It was all just so negative focused and mean-spirited. Whining/pouting/childishness, in regards to not getting what they want. I'm pan-romantic, but have only experienced dating men, and this quality is the biggest turn-off for me. I have no qualms with grown men feeling disappointed, insecure, anxious, vulnerable, scared, sad, or whatever, but if he acts like a spoiled toddler that can't get his way, it's gross. This is aside from obvious negative traits like sexism, racism, abusive behaviors, etc. Being too good for a job even though he was unemployed with no degree or money. Thinking that being truthful is equal to being cruel and inconsiderate. Always chewing with their mouth open, loudly, never getting their/there or your right and pungently poor dental hygiene. Guys that ask without me, when I say I'm gonna go shower or take a bath and I'm not gonna respond for a bit. Little to no ambition. And then to have the nerve to ask me to be like that too. Jealousy. I am not your property, and I can dress how I like to dress. I can speak to whom I want to speak. My time is my own. Well, last night I found out that someone I was casually seeing, and really liked, was arrested and imprisoned for child sexual assault and CP in 2015. I had no idea. Not at all. He told me he went to prison, but he said it was for a doll, and since he'd had a few of them I just believed him. I was absolutely floored. I've been trying to date people all year and he was one of the most respectful and sweet guys, one that I thought I could actually date more intentionally at some point. Pure insanity. Negging. That is so gross. Dated a guy for 2 months, then realized what he was doing. He would make comments about my weight, about my diet. One day after a stint of drinking, he got really ugly. I called him out on it and he never took any responsibility. I decided I was never going to talk to him again after that level of disrespect. He kept trying to contact me and basically had conversations with himself. If you didn't listen the first time, I'll try to explain it to you. That's your own problem. Now he's got one of those breathalyzers in his car. Bullet dodged. Bragging. Like bragging about how cool you are, how many people you've dated, how much money you have literally just makes you that unattractive. Going on their phones immediately after they're done talking and I begin to talk. Always angry about something. I love to laugh and try not to have lasting anger about things that aren't necessary, but this dude was always finding S to be mad at. He would even bring up little s he was mad at about a week ago and I'm just like, you're still holding on to that. You're entitled to your feelings, but I don't understand always wanting to bask in your anger or sadness, if you can help it. Him not having the capability to be rational. Everything was always based on feelings. It's blatant stupidity if you ask me. Constantly putting me down. He would toss small comments at me that made me feel terrible or less than him. Mostly at his favorite hobby, games. So many times I would beat him or be better than him at different games and he would always talk about the ones he was best at while putting down the ones I was good at. He tried to get me to quit multiple board games after he lost, thinking it was useless. And refused to admit he said it after I won them. He was a stereotypical nerd who wanted a girl to play with, but he didn't think girls actually could play as well as guys. Jerk. 0 listening skills, major turnoff. Narcissism. Everything I said was wrong unless I agreed with them, and if I called out creepy behavior I was in a hole. So much. Misogynistic beliefs. Lack of compassion and not caring how their actions affect you. Disregard for your time and energy. Disregarding you in general. Enabling toxic people in their lives. I don't know if this is the most unattractive, but one that sticks out. He wrote a note to the waitress about how badly she treated us / how she could improve on the receipt with no tip on our date. It was KBBQ on a Friday night. He was usually a sweet person with a kind heart, but I was really taken aback when he did that and, honestly, reconsidered the relationship for the first time. I also avoid going to that restaurant now,